Wiring time. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's another 61 Benz episode. Nope, I haven't killed it. I haven't killed the project. It's like crack. Keep going. But I'm doing stuff that doesn't cost money. It's just labor. So I'm resurrecting. I'm waiting for a set of points. Yes, those do cost money, but it was like $14. Still got a misfire. I'm gonna just change the points for the 14 bucks. But I do have the original radiator in there. It now fills the hole completely. It's even got the crusty old original cap. There's that Ford Falcon thing. But anyway, actually runs a little cooler with this one. It runs right at the thermostat. So it's pretty good. I'm pretty stoked. I haven't sandblasted the air filter yet, the can, but I had this thing sitting on the shelf. I had that like a K&N style, but not a K&N, sitting on the shelf. So I kind of jerry-rigged it on there just so I can run with some sort of an air filter. But anyway, I'm working on the lights and I got them to work for the most part. Let me connect the battery. So I have, if you can see it, there's the brake switch. It's off of the master. You can also see one of the plugs. That plugs one of the front ports where that will go to the front wheel. There's one on the bottom too. I'm not actuating the front brakes because I don't have the wheel cylinders. So I have brakes. I have all the running lights. I have blinkers, but the blinkers are sort of MICKEY. So if I flip the ignition on, you can see I can turn on the headlights too. So those are the low beams. Got low beams. I got the running lights or parking lights. Those are also the blinkers. And you know, to activate the blinkers, I just flip that. And so I have the blinker here. Those are the running lights. One on here, that blinker works. These are the brake lights right here. But I got no one to hold the camera when I step on the brake. They do work. And then in the front, I got the blinker on there. That's a double light bulb in there. It's one of those 1057 ones. And turn that off. So the reason I put that switch on it is because the original blinker switch, turn signal indicator switch, or whatever you want to call it, it's got a bad connection for the left side. And this thing is actually, let me turn off those headlights before I kill the battery. Keep the battery disconnected because I don't trust the wiring in there. You know, all that's gonna get replaced, but this is like trying to fix all the individual components to see what I got to work with. So when after the car is stripped and painted and it's all being reassembled, I'm gonna build a completely new harness for it, reusing a lot of these things. So right now, I'm spending the time on trying to resurrect all the connectors, the switches. That's why I got to pull the dashboard apart and get all the switches out. The headlight switch needs a little work. But that's where I'm at. So this is kind of the tedious labor stuff. But today I want to take this guy apart. Now it's riveted. So I'm gonna have to drill it out, and then I'm gonna have to figure out how to put it back together. I may have to go like to a hobby store, like a RC car hobby store, and get like really, small diameter bolts with nuts. See if I can find some that tiny. I'm sure I can, and the right length to kind of screw this thing back together, because I don't have obviously the original rivets. They're on the corner right here, and they go all the way through. So these I got to drill out so I can get this plate off and see what's going on. My guess is a lot of these contacts are riveted in, kind of like you see a rivet right there. And what happens is the rivet will rust, and the plate that it's connected to is supposed to be riveted to and make an electrical connection. That rust inhibits the flow of current, right? Or vice versa. The plate may be clean but the rivet rusts, or the rivet may be clean but the plate rusts. So the rust grows where it should be making a contact, and it stops. So no matter how many times you move this thing back and forth, you're not gonna like wiggle the contact clean. You have to actually take it apart. If it is a rusted rivet, you got to drill it and figure something out. I can get other rivets. Actually, I do have rivets for small things that I can compress in there, but I'm gonna try to figure it out, like stuff. But anyway, I could replace it, but I don't, because this one's auto canceling. So if you like put the blinker on, and then your steering wheel, your steering wheel hits this thing right here, it releases your blinker like that, and your blinker snaps back into place. Same thing this way, it goes one way or the other. You see the blinker. Also, when you pull up on this, you can pull up on it. That's your that's the high beam flicker thing. There was other contacts for that. So you have common, you got right blinker, left blinker, and these two were the connection for the high beam, but it's not activating. I didn't put an ohmmeter across this. I don't know if that's the problem, or if the relay that is supposed to flick it is not working, or there's a connection in the bad connection in the connectors. A lot of these connectors have a bad connection, because while troubleshooting the rest of the lights, those Mercedes ones that the socket and pin, I've noticed they have just bad connections. So I'm gonna take this guy here real quick, get my little test probes, and see if the high beam piece works. I'm gonna take this guy here, and then the other one. Don't hear anything. It may just be like crazy rusted too. Try hooking it onto the base. You got nothing. So there's this part isn't working either. Yep. Just wasn't pulling hard enough on it. But then when I touch the wires, the lights don't come on anyway. So there's other things going on down the line. Right now I'm gonna focus on this thing. You can see, let me unscrew the rest of these. And what's funny about these is they don't have a terminal. They actually just stick the wire in there and tighten it. And so this guy's common. So that's the right blinker. And then this would be the left blinker. Hey, it started working. But anyway, you can see it's intermittent. Yes, I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that apart. I'm probably gonna drill the rivets and just pull it apart. See what's going on in there. All right, so with a little bit of compressed air carburetor cleaner brake cleaner and contact cleaner, I actually got it to work. So something in there worked loose. Maybe the junk that was in there. Make sure the other side still works. Look at that, it's solid. Let's try the high beam thing. Hey, that works too. So I'm gonna put it back in and see what happens. All right, so I got the instrument panel out. I sort of ripped it out because it's supposed to come out of this dash pad. The dash pad is gone. There's no salvaging that. I just ended up ripping it out. To get it out, there's like a wing nut on this, and then you got to unhook your oil pressure line. So I unhooked the oil pressure line in two places, one on the firewall on the engine side, and then I also, once I got this unit out a little bit, I also unhooked it at the unit. There's about a short little tube, you know, it's about probably a foot long. Anyway, where was I before the thing died? So yeah, the hose comes out. The oil pressure line was removed in two places, and then there's a connector. It looks like this. So I'm trying to figure out what the pinout is because I was trying to make the blinker lights work. The dash light would be nice. I also had to remove, oh, that's where I was. So after you remove the oil pressure line, you have to remove the temperature gauge. And it's easier to remove the temperature gauge out of the cluster and leave it in the dash than it is to unhook the temperature gauge out of the engine block. So what's going on with this unit? The lights didn't work. The reason the lights don't work is because for the past 5 years here in San Diego, where the car sat under a tarp, I should have not tarped it, would have been better off. There was a lot of condensation in the car, so there's a lot of surface rust on the dash, up in the dash, and on everything that was metal. It's not deep surface rust, it's just surface rust, but a lot of it has caused bad connections throughout the vehicle. You can see primarily on this little tab, you can see that how, I can't focus on it, but you could see how this is all rusted up, right? This is supposed to be one of these plastic tabs or something on it. Maybe it's a different kind. Anyway, this thing's rusted, and it's actually, you know, rusted to the bulb, and that's where the bad connection is. The same thing, you know, up here, you could see that the joints, the current flows through this little spring, and this little thing rotates. I don't want to mess with it right now because it's actually making good connection. I did. So yeah, I don't want to mess with it because I actually scrubbed it, and it's making a bulb connection. So I can the pinout on these is, you know, let me just pull the ground off of the, you can use that as a ground also, but just to show you, just to kind of show you the ground is this guy right here. So looking at, there's the wire side, and there's the pins. So this one down here, that's left blinker, that's right blinker. That's ground for the generator, or common. And this last pin is the GL light. This first pin here is the instrument lights. So I don't know, I think these are the gauge. When I applied a little bit of power, these were the gauge. Or if I applied a ground or something. So yeah, these were the, whatchamacallit, the fuel gauge, right? The fuel gauge also has a reserve light down by the R. It's an actual light. I don't know which pin that is, but the pins I haven't figured out is this third one in and the second one in right here. That one and that one, I don't know what they do. I'm guessing it's got to be the other two lights, the stator and the field. This is the generator section, so that's probably what those are. One of these three is probably the light for the reserve. And I'm gonna turn on the power supply just so I can sort of demonstrate some of the lights to see if they still work. But this one should be the left blinker. You see it blinking. And this one should be the right blinker. This one is the instrument panel light. You can see that light bulb down there where the gauge is missing. It's illuminated. And there's 4 of those instrument illumination bulbs. There's 2 in the middle, and then there's 2 down here that illuminate the odometer and the trip and the gauge. This thing is dark because it has its own little lights. I tried this with the shop lights off yesterday, but that's where it's at. So I got all the things I need. I just need the blinker indicators so I can drive the car around. And I need to know if my blinkers are working because that thing's a little iffy. And I'll show you the GL light. The GL light is that one right there. I don't know, what the others are. Anyway, so the bulbs work. I'm gonna go and work on the rest of the dash. I'm gonna get the wood trim off, and there's a bunch of screws on the inside of the dash that I gotta remove. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. But this will conclude this video. And I'll see you on the next one. And thanks for watching, and until next time.